Welcome to the Dreams of Consciousness podcast. If you would be so kind, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hey, this is Aaren Pantke. I play guitar and do vocals in the band Molder.
And Aaron, how would you describe Molder? What kind of music would you say Molder makes?
Like proto death metal. I guess some would say it's death thrash.
Now, why proto death metal?
I'm just a big fan of that like era of thrash metal bleeding into death metal, like the early incarnations of it. So bands like Death, Obituary, Autopsy, like all of their first records in particular, strike a chord with me. So I just wanted to start a band in that vein and in that style.
So would you say or would you say Molder's music fits into that era of mid to late 80s death thrash?
I would say so. I mean, that's definitely the goal, but I suppose that's really up for the listeners to decide.
Would you mind telling me a little bit about how Molder came together?
Basically, I just in high school met Dominic, and we decided to start a band together. And just through trials and tribulations with lineup changes and just trying to get together like a solid unit, we finally got our shit together and started playing shows locally. From there, we started recording more, and then we went through some more lineup change issues, and now we have what is Molder being Carlos, Kyle, myself, and Dominic. So basically, it just started like that, just like a high school aspiration that has just kind of continued onward.
Now, when you and Dominic got together, did you already have an idea of what kind of music you guys wanted to make?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Our whole thing at the time was just being really into tape in particular and the tape resurgence through labels like Head Split and Acid Redux and all types of labels, Caligari, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I don't know. We were just very much so in the mindset of, again, music that seemed to be from like 1985 to like 1992. Um, it was just constantly on the mind to the point where when we were hanging out, we were in other bands doing musical stuff. It was just kind of a natural decision to do that kind of style, I guess, with one another.
Do you and Dominic write all the music together?
No, I predominantly do most of what like you hear on the record, but since the new addition of Carlos, I've kind of loosened the reins, so to say. So there's more material from Dominic on this last one, as well as Carlos. Whereas things in the past were predominantly my writing. Dominic did contribute here and there, and like everyone has their final say and their parts and whatnot. But I guess for the most part, it was just kind of my baby from the get go. Dominic just happened to be my friend that was along for the ride and interested in doing it and gave it his all. So that's why he's still in the band and why he, continues to be my, best friend and so forth.
Yeah. When you write stuff, do you demo stuff with a DAW, something like Ableton, or do you just
Oh
keep
no,
riffs?
I just like write riffs and then record them on my phone if I'm having trouble just remembering them or whatever. But typically I could just write it and store it in my head and bring it to practice and show the guys what I want to do with it, I guess.
Okay. Uh, do you do a lot of the arranging as well, or do you guys do that as a band?
That's more so a band thing. I come in with like a bare backbone kind of idea of what I want with the song as far as, this is the order I'd like the riffs, but repetitions, things like that, that always changes. Accents always change. Just, giving it the flavor, giving it, the fanciness beyond the nuts and bolts of the song. So yeah, that's definitely as a unit, always.
Now, what about Carlos? When he writes stuff, does he write in a similar way as you, demoing stuff on
Oh
his
yeah,
phone?
definitely. Like he gets what we're doing and what we're going for, and he also brings his own flavor to the table, obviously, of course. But yeah, I don't know. I trust him pretty freely to just come with whatever he's got, and we're usually able to work with it.
Does Carlos also come from a similar background and as far as being a fan of that mid to late 80s style of death metal?
Oh, definitely. I mean, like his music taste definitely goes a lot beyond that, and so do the rest of the guys. But he gets what we're doing and is a fan of it, so it was a no-brainer to have him join the band.
Yeah. Uh, would you say your sound has evolved at all over the years?
Um, Technically, yes. I mean, just like any band, everyone gets better the more they play, the more they practice, and the more they write. Um, but I think all in all, it's pretty much still the same. I guess idea, vibe, whatever. You can listen to us from any point in our, I guess, career, if you want to call it that, and still know that it's us, even if it's evolved in whatever capacities. But yeah, just a lot more of the same, just I guess more refined, and like the fat's just kind of trimmed off of things, and it's more like every note counts as opposed to just kind of feeling it out and trying to figure it out.
Yeah. A lot of your releases are actually live releases or recorded live. Uh, why is that?
Those aren't even like legit releases. We just, in the course of having our demos, fortunately for us, they would sell out. So we didn't have anything to bring along with us on the road. So if we'd go out of state, we would just like home dub, just YouTube live recordings to just sell for like a couple bucks at the merch table to get us some gas money or whatever. But people go nuts in the course, put things on archives and Discogs and whatever else. Like our very first release was technically a live release, and that one I do stand by. But anything else that's listed is just kind of I don't know. I wouldn't say nonsense, but just shit we had to scrape together to make some money.
Okay. So these are almost like bootlegs that ended up on your discography.
100%. Like the only one that's like a legit 100% official release is the live at Cobra Lounge tape. But anything else, like I know there's like a live in St. Louis. There's like a thing called Dead in Salem. Like they were all just kind of like neat little runs we did just to again bring to one-off shows to have something because we didn't have shirts or CDs or anything. So
Cool. I mean that is I don't know, that is kind of old school, right? Like uh back in the day people would trade like rehearsal recordings or
yeah,
uh
absolutely. And that was the
yeah.
mindset, was just to have neat little things that people can like still listen to us with. But I don't know, obviously they could just go on their phone and look up our Bandcamp. So it just felt like a cooler thing to do.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the new album that you have coming out. It's called Catastrophic Reconfiguration, and it'll be out
Yeah.
through Prosthetic Records on the 8th of November. Let's start with when you started working on this album.
Um, I guess really immediately after Engrossed to Decay, like we're always writing, we're always like coming up with stuff and bringing it to practice. So a lot of the bones to that record was written like very shortly after the release, I guess, of Engrossed. Just being on the road, messing around at sound checks, like trying new shit like that. But we just got super busy throughout the year, and it just became a lot harder to find the time to sit down and finish the album. So as we got closer to like the deadline, so to say, like it was a lot more of like, all right, let's get this going and let's really focus on getting it done, which we were able to do. But um, yeah, it just, I guess to answer your question in short, just immediately after Engrossed up until almost the time we recorded, just kind of fine tuning and tweaking stuff. There was even things while we recorded that we changed just a little bit, and I think for the better.
So when you say deadline, was this a deadline from the label?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a general like time space of which they like, the next record after you release one with them. It isn't super strict, um, but it is just to kind of stay in the public eye, stay relevant, keep uh, you know, the momentum going, so to say, with the band. Obviously, if you wait too long, momentum dies, exposure dies, and you're gonna, I guess, have to restart. So definitely see why their time frame was what it was, and fortunately, we were able to get it done in that.
Right. Is that one of the reasons why Carlos and Dominic contributed more to this album?
Oh no, that was just for the sake of I finally just like again just cemented what the band's supposed to be, sounds like, etc. And I just fully trust them at this point. There isn't like a question of all right, are they going to bring something? I guess I don't want to say lame to the table, but just something that I don't want in particular for the band. Like that doesn't happen anymore. Every time someone has an idea, it's like they know whether or not to bring it to the table for Molder. So I don't know. That said, it was just easier to just kind of let them do the thing and sit back.
Sure. We spoke a little bit about how the band has evolved over the years. What would you say the main differences between Catastrophic Reconfiguration and your previous album, Engrossed in Decay?
Oh, just a lot more solos. for one, if you're going to look at it through a musical outlook. I mean, like the songwriting is still very much the same, but there's definitely a lot more leads on this. And then just production definitely took like a leap. We worked with Greg Wilkinson from Earhammer on this one, and it sounds absolutely nuts by comparison to like anything we've ever done in any of our bands. So that's definitely the huge difference in my opinion. But
Sure. Uh, Greg worked on the mixing and mastering.
yes, he did both.
Okay. Uh, where did you actually record your tracks?
We did our drum tracks at a friend of a friend's. Our buddy Matt had a friend that helped us record drums in this little like studio basement thing, and then everything else we just recorded at home basically.
At your own homes.
So yeah, so we practice at my mom's house still, which rules. Like, it's got the whole basement with all the gear and whatever else we could possibly need. So, yeah, we just kind of took a day or two for each part and just set up in my mom's basement and just recorded at our own will and comfortably with no pressure and no money, like being an object or time being an object. So it was a lot smoother for us. It was a lot easier. And yeah, I don't know, just overall a better experience than I guess the last couple. Not that they were bad. It's just again we were just way way comfortable on this go around.
Cool. And your buddy who engineered this is Matt Aguilar.
Yes,
Had you worked with Matt Aguilar before?
yeah, he's actually in Kyle and Carlos's side band Cryptum. He plays bass in that. So just through recording stuff, like he's recorded all of our side projects basically. I had a little bedroom band I did called Granulated that he like mixed and mastered for me. Like he's always just been in our friend group and involved with like our projects in some capacity.
Tell me about working with Greg. Just because I introduce so many death metal bands, Greg's name comes up all the time, and I finally got to meet him a couple months ago. Um, why was it important for you to send this to Greg to handle the mixing and the mastering?
We just had the opportunity to play with Autopsy, and we like got to actually meet him, talk to him, and like after we played, I don't know, he just seemed to have a grasp on what it is that we wanted to achieve and accomplish as a band. So just talking to him, it seemed like the no-brainer to go with as far as at the very least the mix. Um, we knew that we couldn't necessarily afford to go out to California and bring all of our gear and do the whole studio thing, but yeah, I don't know. Just he's a good guy, and again, he got it or gets it as far as what we're trying to do. So working with him was like one of the most seamless, easiest things I've ever had to do. We didn't have to do much of any passes as far as the mixes go. Like he like honestly nailed all of it as far as I'm concerned on the first go around. The only thing he really had to fix was shit that we should have fixed on our own as far as little minute edits and stuff with just actual recordings. But yeah, he did a great job.
He knows his death metal, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look at his roster as far as bands he's just in, let alone has worked with. He's a maniac. It's the best.
What would you say he brought to the sound of the finished album? What would you say he brought to Molder's sound?
He just made it sound like super duper punchy. Like he gave us this opportunity to sound on record like we do in like a perfect live setting with kick ass sound. And I think he delivered the goods with that, like for sure. It's just a very punchy, just polished but not overproduced sounding record. Everything is nice and isolated but layered and like I don't know. It's a very very well done mix. Very pleased with it.
So we spoke a little bit about your live recordings. Um, do you have anything planned for when the album is released?
Yeah, we have a release show here in Chicago on December 12th at Reggie's Rock Club with Primal Code, Obscene from Indianapolis, and Warp Chamber. The two of them are going to be on tour with one another. So we just kind of combined forces and just made the show just a stacked little lineup. Other than that, we're planning on going to Europe next year in the summer. I can't say too much about that beyond that, but keep your eyes peeled for that. And just kind of waiting for the record to drop to feel out tour offers for next year. Like they're starting to roll in now, but we just can't really commit to anything just yet because I don't know. It's just we only have so much time off work throughout the year, so we just got to be really smart about our, I guess, decision making.
Yeah. But Europe should be awesome. Have you ever played there before?
Yeah, no, we've never been. So like just even the vacation and everything. So very much so looking forward to going there.
That's awesome. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So by the time people hear this or watch it on YouTube, Catastrophic Reconfiguration will be out through Prosthetic Records. Aaron, please tell everyone how they can order the album. What's the best way to get it?
If you're looking for it on CD or vinyl, you could go through our Bandcamp, or you could just go through Prosthetics' actual web store. If you're looking for the Blue Ooze vinyl that everyone seems to be hunting for, it's apparently only an Amazon exclusive, so you'll have to order it from there. I'm not sure if the band will have copies of that or not. Um, Headsplit Records is going to be handling the cassette version of the release, and that will also be out November 8th, coinciding with the LP and the CDs from Prosthetic. You can get those just straight from Headsplit Records Store Envy. Um, Other than that, you can like find our t-shirts, merch, things like that through our link.to. So lnk.to/ catastrophic reconfiguration. And that'll just take you, excuse me, basically take you to a link tree that has everything and anything, our Bandcamp, our Spotify, our merch stores, direct links to buy the record, buy the CD, to buy the cassette, et cetera, et cetera.
So, how many vinyl versions are there for this? You mentioned the Amazon exclusive, but Prosthetic also has a green one,
Just
right?
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just two for
Okay.
this one. There was three last album, but this one we're just gonna go simple with it, go easy with it. So it's like a weird splattery green, and then like a really cool looking blue color. I can't remember what the names that we settled with for the actual releases, but I'm sure there's something silly and super dumb in death metal or whatever.
Cool. And if people want to get updates on your tours and things like that, what's the best way to follow you online?
Just definitely Instagram and Facebook. Either or, they're pretty much linked together. So if I post on one, the other gets the same post. So if you follow us on one, you're good to go.
Very cool. Is there anything else you want to say?
Just thank you for your time. Appreciate you reaching out and doing the podcast. Apologies for having to reschedule. And again, I appreciate you being willing to do so. And that's really it. Thanks for taking the time to do this.
Yeah. Are you at work right now?
Technically, yes, but I'm off the clock. I just happened to be down here. I was like, all right, I'll just take a seat here and get it done. But yeah, I am at Reggie's right now.
Oh, very cool. I think I was at Reggie's back in May. Was Reggie's where Cenotaph from Turkey played?
Um, I'm trying to remember if they played here or not. Who else was on the lineup?
Uh, Another band called Annihilation Principle, I think, or Annihilation something.
Oh, you
Um,
know what? I think that might have been Livewire.
okay. All right.
Maybe. Was it like a biggish venue or small?
It was pretty small. Um, Pretty
All right, it was
small.
probably Livewire then.
Okay. Oh,
Like
Reggie's is a
bathroom in
bigger
the back
venue.
corner by the stage.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
the one. Yeah,
Reggie's
yeah.
is like yeah, Livewire is cool. That's like north side of the city. We're on the south side here. It's like a 4 or 500 capacity rock club, and then they have a 200 capacity bar side that's similar to Livewire, it's just obviously bigger. But yeah, it's a super great venue. Most of the like big major circuit metal tours come through here. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. Hopefully, the next time I'm in Chicago, I can stop by Reggie's.
Hell yeah, definitely recommend it. Some of the best food in the city as well. So make sure you eat here if you come.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Aaron.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.